Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Thoughts at 3 live online assembly. My name is Matt, and I am part of the schools team at Southampton City Mission. And as you know, we are an independent Christian charity who serve the church in Southampton as the church serves the city. We usually go into schools to do question of faith RE days and assemblies and prayer spaces and transition support sessions and so on. But currently we can't do that because of the lockdown that the government have got in place. And so we have been streaming online now for 3.5 weeks or so. And we've been doing these assemblies, which we call Thoughts at 3. They're about 15 to 20 minutes long, and normally involve a thought for the day or a starter or an illusion or something like that, a story maybe on a specific topic. Then we'll answer some questions and we'll end with a prayer. Ellie is going to join us later on to answer your questions on today's topic, which is the Bible. So if you've got a question about the Bible, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube right now, please add your first name, the school you know us from, your question about the Bible to the comments, so that we can give you a shout out, so that we can answer those questions later. Now, I know we had some trouble with the comments and technical issues with the comments yesterday. Hopefully that's not the case today. So if you are watching, please do pop something in the comments so that we know that those are working, especially if you're watching on Facebook. And don't forget to like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, which we now have an official name for. It's youtube.com/c/scm schools. And let us know that you're watching. As I said, our focus for today is the Bible. Yesterday, Ellie led our Thoughts at 3, and she did a craft special. And some of the photos that were taken yesterday by children who were taking part behind the scenes, one of them at least has come in. So I just wanted to show you that before we begin today's assembly. Let me just show you this very quickly. So that was a picture there from Epi, who had done the Resist Art Craft Special, which Ellie led us through yesterday, and she did the Christian symbol of a tree. We actually do a day in schools all about trees as symbols. And so great that you did a tree. Fantastic effort, Epi. We're going to add that picture to our Instagram later. And if anyone else did join in yesterday with the craft special, but you haven't yet sent us a photo of your Resist art that you made, then please do send that to us at schools@Southampton City Mission. You'll see on the bottom there our email address ticking along, and we will add it to our Instagram as well. As I've said, today is about the Bible, and I want to show you some of the Bibles that I have got here with me. Now, when you think of the Bible, you might think of a dusty old tome, a really heavy book, something maybe like this. Now, this is the Bible that was given to my dad when he left Weymouth Grammar School 60-something years ago. It's a very old Bible. It's got gold leaf on the edges there. It's very heavy, very thick, dark cover, as you'd expect. And inside there's pictures, but not pictures as you would expect to see. These are actually pictures that were printed separately and then stuck into the pages. So this Bible was made even before it was possible to print, color pictures into books, which is quite incredible. So maybe that's what you think of. Maybe you think of something slightly different. Still going on in time, we've got a little children's illustrated Bible here. It says the New Children's Illustrated Bible. This one, now we've got the technology here to print pictures actually inside the books. You can see the story there of Moses receiving the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments. But again, very thick, very old, very dusty, very heavy, very basic type of Bible there. These days, the ones that we like to use in school look more like this. This is the Lion Storyteller Bible, which we use a lot in schools. We've also got the Jesus Storybook Bible, which we've shown you a number of times and told stories from. That's got beautiful illustrations inside of it, and every story points to Jesus in this Bible, which is fantastic. We've got also the NIV Bible for children, which we've mentioned before. This is one that we put in schools all across the city of Southampton. about 5-6 years ago, and it's got some CDs or a CD in the back with 50 of the favourite stories in. And then, as well as that, we've also recently bought the Rhyming Bible, which is Bob Hartman's latest one, and that's a number of stories from the Bible, 41 stories, all done in rhyme, which is fantastic fun. My Charlie, my son, he likes this Bible, which is the hands-on Bible, and there's some cool experiments and things that you can do in there to help you understand what the Bible is all about and how it works, what the stories of the Old Testament and New Testament were all about. Lots of different experiments that you can do and get stuck in with this. That's another good recommendation. But the one Bible that everyone in schools asks for whenever we go in is this one. They know it as the magic book or the magic Bible. And we always explain to people that the word Bible simply means book. Or books. It's a collection of books. It's like a library, actually. It's a number of books inside another book. And the word holy means special or set apart or sacred, something different from all the others. There are millions and millions of books in the world, but the Bible is different because it's the only one that contains God's word, is what Christians believe. This one is particularly special because it's a colouring book Bible. And I don't know if anyone likes colouring, maybe those of you who tuned in to the craft special yesterday. As you can see, this Bible has got lots of pictures that need to be coloured in. I'll show you there. You can see those hopefully quite clearly. There's the story, or let's skip back a couple of pages. There's the story of Jesus being born when he was a little baby. Christians believe that was God coming to earth as a human, and then he got baptized. Bible says he walked on water, he calmed the storm, he was friends with people when they were lonely, he fed people when they were hungry, and Christians believe that he had a special meal with his friends and then died, but came back to life again 3 days later. Now, these stories are brilliant, but they would be much better coloured in. So what we always ask children to do in schools is to think about their favourite colour. And if you can help me at home with this, that would be really brilliant. I'm going to ask you to think about your favourite colour. Maybe it's purple like mine or a different colour, I don't know. What I want you to do in a moment is I'm going to count to 3. When I get to 3, I want you to pull the colours out of your head and then throw them at your laptop or your TV or your phone, your tablet, whatever you're watching. And we're going to colour in these black and white pictures with those colours that you throw through the internet. This trick works even if you throw the colours through the internet. You don't have to be here in person. So we'll give that a go. Think about your favourite colour, and then slowly pull it out of your head like this and hold it in your hand. And after 3, you're going to throw your colours at my Holy Bible, my special book. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Go for it. Throw your colours at the book. I'll hold it really close so you can colour them all in. Fantastic. And hopefully now you have thrown your colours into the book, and hopefully you have coloured in the pictures. Let's have a look and see if that is the case. Oh, there they are. Fantastic. Look, there's the story of Jesus being born, being baptized, walking on water, calming the storm, feeding people, being friends with people, dying and coming back to life again. And you know, for Christians, the Bible is like a colorful picture book. We believe the stories really happened, that people 2,000 plus years ago wrote down these things that happened and brought them together in one book so that we could understand what Jesus was like and hear about the things that he did. And we believe that these stories are really real, which is why the Bible for Christians is like a special coloring book. But you might not believe the stories. That's okay, actually. You don't have to believe them. It's your choice. But I think if you don't believe the stories, it's almost as if the colors are rubbed out and the pictures are just black and white, like this, you see? All the colors have gone. But maybe you've never heard the stories of the Bible before. Maybe you've never heard about Jesus being born, about him walking on the water, about him calming the storm, dying or coming back to life again. Maybe for you, the Bible is completely empty, much like if I shook all the pictures out and they disappeared. Maybe the Bible is like that for you. But as we go into schools and we tell the stories of the Bible, as we explain to children what they mean to Christians, we sort of color it or draw in the stories, and we color them in so that hopefully children start to realize that for Christians, the Bible is actually quite an amazing, quite a special, quite a wonderful book, filled with colored pictures that tell us all about God's love and all about Jesus. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. That is the one illustration that we get asked to do the most in schools. And hopefully that's given you a little bit of a flavour of the sort of stuff that we do in schools and told you a little bit about the Bible too. We're going to answer some of your questions now, and I can see that people are commenting. So I'm just going to move across to the other part of my studio at home here, and we'll answer some of your questions. Just bear with me a moment. Great, so hopefully you can still see me and you can still hear me, and you will see on the comments wherever you're watching, hopefully, that we've got lots of people saying hello. So thank you so much for commenting on the videos. I can see we've got lots of people tuning in, which is fantastic. I'm going to ask Ellie to join us now, who is going to be answering some of the questions that we have got stored, prepared, ready, but also some of the questions that you're asking live on the stream as well. So let's get Ellie involved. Hello, Ellie.
Hello there, good afternoon.
How are you doing, Ellie?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I enjoyed that. I was shouting purple, and I definitely saw some purple. My favourite
your favourite colour is purple as well?
Absolutely, I'm wearing it today on my jumper.
Oh, fantastic, brilliant. Well, thanks for joining in with that, really appreciate it. Hopefully you saw the colour purple there in the Bible after you'd thrown it in.
I did, magic.
Fantastic, good. So I'm going to have a look through some of the questions that have been coming in on the comments. While we do that, please, Ellie, could you answer the first question that we have ready for today, which is, who wrote the Bible? Christians believe it's God's word, but who actually wrote it? Please, can you explain that to us a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. So the Bible is actually made up of lots of different books, 66 books all put together. And actually those books had a variety of authors or people that wrote them. And the Bible was actually written over hundreds of years. So we know that there were lots of different authors. Some of them you can tell because the book is named after them, like the other day when we were learning about the Gospels. We had Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. They wrote those books, which is why they're named after them. But some of the authors, we're not too sure who wrote those books. We know that some people think some of the Old Testament books were written by Moses. You might have heard about him. There's lots of stories about him in the Bible. Like when he helped people escape from Egypt. We know, or we think, that some of the books were written by David. King David is said to have written lots of the Psalms, which are kind of like the poems or the songs in one of those books of the Bibles. But what we do believe as Christians is that all of these books, although they were written by different people at different times over different years, they are all inspired by God. There's a passage in the Bible that says all scripture is God-breathed. And that just means that all the words that are put there have been inspired by God. So people were listening to God and praying to God, and he directed them. And so for Christians, that's part of the reason why we believe the Bible is so special, because it has come from God. He helped write that book, even if he wasn't the one putting words on paper at the time.
Great, fantastic. That's a wonderful explanation. Thank you so much for that, Ellie. That's really helpful. We've got a question here from Lucy on the comments saying, is the Bible reliable? Can we really know even that these things that are written about in the Bible actually happened? And that's a really great question. It's important to know that whatever you read, if you're basing your faith on it, if you're considering it to be something that you trust, is actually reliable. Something reliable means that we can be sure that what it says is true. And for Christians, we believe that the Bible is reliable because we have many different sources that actually confirm what was written inside the Bible. So lots of people would say, well, does Jesus exist? Is it just the Bible that says that he existed? But actually, there were Jewish writings and that there were Roman writings from around the same time as the first 4 books of the Bible, the Gospels, as we talked about on Monday, that all talk about a man called Jesus, who lived about 2,000 years ago and did amazing things, taught amazing things, and then died on a cross. And so there are independent publications, if you like, from Jewish history and from Roman history that have the same stories in them. So we can know that at least those parts are pretty reliable. As well as that, there are more copies of the original texts of the Bible than is needed to test whether something is reliable. Historians and literature type people, I don't know what they're called, but they do something called textual criticism, where they look to see at a text whether how many copies of this thing are there, how many how close are the copies to the original, and also how soon after these events did these texts get made. And actually there are so many, there are tens of thousands of copies of the early Greek manuscripts that tell us about Jesus, and they were written really, really close, within 30 to 300 years after Jesus was alive on earth. And so they passed the textual criticism rules for determining whether something is reliable. I often say in schools, actually, there's more evidence for the existence of Jesus than there is for the Roman Emperor, the Caesar, because of all of the text that we have and evidences that we can physically lay our hands on to show that this text is reliable. As well as that, we talked a little while ago in another assembly about the different versions that people might have of different events. And it's like that trick I showed you earlier. Hopefully you're going to share this video with your friends and tell them that Matt's done his magic book, the magic Bible trick online. And you might say, oh, well, and he made us throw colors. People might not believe it. They might not think it really happened, but you've seen it with your own eyes now. And so you could write about it, you could share about it. Whether people believe you is up to them. You know it happened because you saw it with your own eyes. And so for Christians, we believe the Bible is authentic and reliable because the people who saw these things that are written about in the Bible happened and then wrote them down. And it's our choice now whether we believe them or not. So hopefully that answers your question, Lucy. Maybe the last question, unless there are any more on the comments, which comes actually from a school that we go into, Swanmore C of E Primary School, who I know will be doing a session soon on the specialness of the Bible and why it's so special and precious. They've been in contact with us to ask if we could support them with that, and we are expecting them to be tuning in for this assembly at some point, maybe not live. So hello if you're watching live, hello if you're watching at some point in the future, anyone from Swanmore Primary. We were asked to answer this question: why is the Bible special to you? So Ellie, why don't you start by answering that question first, please?
Yeah, that's a brilliant question. I would say the Bible is special for me, not because of the actual book. There's nothing special on the pages. I've got one of my Bibles here. In fact, my Bible's falling apart a bit. You can see I've had to sticky tape it back together. But what makes it really special for me is the words inside. Those words, which I mentioned earlier, Christians believe God inspired, he helped write, he helped put those words together. Well, it's special to me because it helps me live my life. It's so special, in fact, that I choose to write those words in lots of different places. Inside my Bible, I sometimes highlight passages that I like and I circle them. In the front of my Bible, I've even drawn and scribbled all over some of my favourite passages. So I don't treat this Bible maybe, preciously, barely touch it. No, I like to get it out as much as I can and be reminded of that. And because I'm quite artistic, I even have another Bible here, which a friend bought me, and it's actually got spaces down the side, specifically for me to do drawings and pictures and writing. So for me, the Bible is special because of all of those words that are in there, and I pick out some of my favourite passages and use those to help me with the rest of my life and all the decisions I make. But what about you?
That's brilliant. Thank you, Ellie. I know someone, actually, a friend of mine, good friend of mine, has just got one of those journaling Bibles with space down the edge there. She's really scared, though, to put in her first thing in there. She's worried about spoiling it. Could you give her any advice as to how to make that first step of actually doing something in her journaling Bible?
I would say be bold and be brave. Pick one of your favourite passages, a Bible verse that you really love that's going to be in your head forever, and then maybe just go with it. And always get some colours involved. I think colourful is always helpful.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Ellie. For me, the Bible is really special because it is God's word to me. It's like his love letter to me. That might sound a little bit weird, but actually, in my life, I only became a Christian about 14, 15 years ago, and I didn't know that I was loved, actually, through all of my life. And when I became a Christian, I understood that God loved me, but he wasn't someone I could just turn to and speak to and have a cuddle from. And so reading the Bible helps me to understand how much he loves me and why he loves me and what he's done to show that he loves me. And so for me, the Bible is a source of comfort, and it's a source of knowledge about this God who loves me. And it's a place I go to know how valuable I am. Even if I'm not feeling very valuable or very loved, I can go to the Word of God and I can know just how valued and how loved I am. So hopefully that's helpful, Swanmore Primary, and we've answered that question for you. There are a couple of questions in the comments which we're going to look at briefly. So Blaze, who I believe is in year 4 at Ferrard Juniors, he's asking, or she's asking, I think it's a he, is asking the question, are there hundreds of Bibles or thousands of Bibles? I would like to know. So hundreds or thousands, how many Bibles are there, Ellie?
I would say there are even more than that. I think there's about 5, is it billion or million? I'll have to double check that, I think. But I think there's millions of Bibles printed. And that's not even just, in the one type. You've shown loads of different types. In fact, I think all of those Bibles that are printed, there's about 7,000 different languages that the Bible is printed in. So it's not just in English or not just in the ancient Greek or Arabic that it was first written in, but different languages all have copies of their Bible. In fact, it is the world record holder for the most sold book, even more than some of those favourite books you might know. But the Bible holds the world record, billions.
Yes, it's the #1 bestseller every day, every week, every year throughout history since it was first started to be mass published, because so many people want their own copy of the Bible. So hopefully that answers your question, Blaze. We've got another one coming in here from Ruth, or one of her children, who asked the question, what is your favorite story in the Bible? I really love in the Bible the story of Balaam's donkey, when God speaks through a donkey to a man who was being a little bit donkey-headed or donkey-minded himself, wasn't listening to God, and so God spoke to him through his own donkey, which seems incredible, but I believe that it actually happened. What's your favorite Bible story, Ellie?
Oh, that's a good one. There's lots of fun, crazy stories in the Bible as well. But my favourite is one from the Gospel that we heard about the other day, when Jesus was on earth, and it's when Jesus calmed the storm. I think we can all relate to those scary times when the waves seem really big around us, but Jesus was able to calm it just with his voice. And for me, that reminds me I can always pray to Jesus and know I am safe.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Ellie. Lily is commenting to say, wow, there's even more, the Bible is even more popular than Harry Potter. And that's absolutely right. There are millions and millions of Bibles sold, even more than Harry Potter, Lily. As we end this assembly, I just want to give a few more shout outs. Just want to say hello to Michelle, who says she's been here the whole time. I know you've been tuning in since day one, Michelle, so it's great to see you. Thanks, Blaze or Blaze Edge. I don't know how to pronounce your name, so I'm so sorry about that, but it's lovely to have you with us as well. Lily's with us as well, and we've got Ruth and her children tuning in. We've also got Barry. Hello, Barry. We've got Sorrel watching. And Sylvia, hello to Sylvia, great to have you with us. And of course, Megan is online as well, whose auntie is one of our team leaders. Rebecca is watching, or Ellie is watching her granddaughter, which is great to have you with us. Ellie, lovely to see you. Just want to say thank you so much to everyone for tuning in, and thank you, Ellie, for joining us this afternoon. If you have any more questions about the Bible, please email them us at schools@Southampton City Mission, and we will do our best to answer them. Ellie, tell us a little bit about what your assembly tomorrow is on.
Tomorrow we are talking all about authority. So this is a topic where we try to find out a bit more about Jesus and some of the power and authority that he had. So I hope you can join me at 3 o'clock tomorrow for that.
Sounds good. We'll see you then. Thanks so much for joining us, Ellie. Take care. So we are just going to say a prayer to finish our session together this afternoon. And if you'd like to agree, then at the end, when I say amen, you can also say amen. We talked a lot, given a lot of information. Why not just take a moment to clear your mind and have a think for yourself? Whether you pray or not, whatever faith you are, we can all think. So just for a moment, pause and wonder for a second about these idea of these millions and millions of copies of this book which Christians believe is the Word of God. And at the end of my prayer, if you'd like to say amen, you can. Dear God, thank you that we have your words to read in our own language. Help us to understand what you want us to know and to be patient when we find it difficult to grasp what you are saying or believe the promises you have made. Please may we live out the message of your love, which is shown through the Bible, through the thoughts that we think, the words that we speak, and the actions that we take. If you would like to agree, you can say amen. Well, thank you again so much, everyone, for joining us. It's been a real lovely session. I've enjoyed doing the illusion. I've got another illusion coming up for you on Friday, but tomorrow, as Ellie said, she will be doing our assembly tomorrow. Our thoughts at 3 o'clock on Thursday, the 29th of April, which will be about authority, about key events in Jesus' life, why he had authority and how he showed us that. So tune in then. If you haven't already, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, send us those art pictures you made yesterday, or if you want to, you can watch it back. The videos there on YouTube and on Facebook. Watch it back, make your own relief art, send us the picture to our email address, which is just there on the bottom of the screen, schools@southamptoncitymission.co.uk, and we will add them to our Instagram. For now, God bless you, stay safe, and we will see you soon. Bye bye.